Other people have said, well, my grandma doesn't speak English. I said, do you speak whatever language she speaks? Yeah. I said, then before you do the interview that way, you just provide for yourself and for people in the future who might want to read this and not know the language your grandmother speaks, a summary, not a blow-by-blow translation, but a summary of the important points of that. So you work the project around what you have as family. Oh, I want to interview everybody. No, you don't have time to interview everybody, so don't do it. Well, I don't have a third generation on my father's side of the family, and I really want to interview my father. Is your mother's mother living? Yes, okay. Interview your grandma from your mother's side, your father, and then whatever sibling. You don't have to go down, a certain line, a certain gender, whatever. It's whoever you've got that. I don't have any grandparents. You have aunts and uncles? Yeah. Interview them about their mother, about their father, okay? So make it work somehow. Notice that these are fairly weighty as far as my having to give you a mark, okay? So, but let me tell you where you should start over the vacation. You should start with the letter to your unborn child, because past history tells me that's where you guys run out of steam. Okay, you've put a lot of work in everything else, and all of a sudden it's a letter that's one page, and the kid can't really see you. So what you want to do is you want to be able to interview yourself with some of the same questions that you're interviewing other people with, and you want to be able to paint a picture of yourself. So if something should happen to you before this kid grows up and she reads this letter, she gets a picture of it. Okay? So what do you like to eat? What clothes do you like? Blah, 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 blah. All the little mundane things that you think don't matter are exactly what matters in something like this. When you're interviewing your grandparents, your grandmother, make note of what she's wearing, where she's sitting, what's her kitchen smell like, blah, 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 because if you do your interview question, answer, then it's two-dimensional. If you add in that your grandmother, after dinner, was smoking her favorite cigar, because your grandmother smokes cigars, okay, that gets added in there. If, while you were asking her a question, something came up in your mind about this, jot that stuff down, because those are little asides that you can put in, and you can figure out how to do it. Past students have put it in different font, done it in different ways, but it adds sort of a three-dimensional quality to what your paper's all about. Yes?
Are we typing up the interview more or less word for word, or are we writing about how the interview went?
You can do whichever way you want. This person, for example, took notes, and then she just wrote an essay about, okay. Although no one's home yet, I can feel mayhem that's about to ensue as Tara and the kids arrive home. It's 3 o'clock, okay. And she didn't go question, answer. Other people went question, answer, and sometimes got such long answers that they had to cut some things short. I would suggest you either audio tape it or videotape it so that you don't have to sit there taking copious notes. But there's a danger in doing that. I had a young woman one year who went to Hawaii, interviewed her grandfather, had 7 hours. And this was when VHS was still around, and this stuff. She said, what do I do? I said, pick some parts of it and just do that. But I said, you have 7 hours of your grandpa, so when he's no longer around, you've got something that you can remember. So I said, there's a positive too. Question?
Does it have to be in person? Like my great-grandmother lives in Missouri.
No. Well, what I would do is I would try to work in multiple ways, like telephone. If she doesn't mind using a tape recorder or whatever you guys use now, I still use a tape recorder. See if you can do that. Have somebody else help her with it, okay, if there's somebody else there.
Okay. Because she's 97.
Email her the questions.
She doesn't know how to. Sorry, I know it's like getting complicated, but like she doesn't own a computer.
No, that's okay. But somehow figure out how to do this, because I think it was the third year that I was teaching this course, during the final presentation, when you give a 5-minute presentation of your project, one young woman in the class said, you know, I'm really glad I took this class because I interviewed my grandmother first, and she's no longer alive. So in 1 month, her grandmother had died, but yet she got the information. So you never know. I would start on your great-grandma, tomorrow. At least, figure out what you want. Okay, so letter to your unborn child. That's another part. Family tree. Okay, family tree can be, again, inventive. You have this young man doing it like this with an explanation. This one I thought was really cool. She took stuff from Indonesia, and she has an explanation of it, and this is her family tree. This counts. This is a family tree. Other people, particularly people of European descent, somebody says, well, I already have a family tree. You know, my mother's got this, it's 500 pages. I said, put it in if you want to, but make your own creative family tree from the 3 generations that you've interviewed. Okay? So your family tree doesn't have to go back to the beginning. You know, it only has to be whatever this project encompasses. Family crest, coat of arms. Okay, this is I think the coolest part of the whole thing. So after you've interviewed people, you figure out what's core to your family, and then you build some kind of visual representation of it. So you've got something like this, okay, with an explanation, or you have something like this. This is her family crest, okay, and what she says is, my family crest consists of 4 values that seem most prominent in my family. First, images of food from Indonesia and China, because it has always been a part of our lives. The next value is Catholicism, as she goes on. Traveling is another aspect, and education is important in our individual lives. The rocks that are placed around the wooden box are symbolic of the many different individuals I have encountered and have shaped my identity. They varied in color because it represents my friends' different cultural and religious backgrounds. Okay? So you give meaning to this, and then it's part of yours. Some people, again, mostly people with European backgrounds, say, well, we already have a family crest. I said, fine, put it in, but make your own, because this is your project. What is your creativity tell you that is that? And it can be something as simple as this. And I don't have she didn't pick this up, she picked the rest of her project up. The explanation is with the rest of the project, but at least this gives you an idea of, you can kind of guess what are probably important things for this family. Outdoors, okay, music, togetherness, okay, it's pretty obvious. Okay, photo section. Call your moms and pops tonight, tell them, get photographs. But do not use original photographs. I had one person use original photographs, and then she never picked them up, and these were probably photographs that Grandma was probably not too happy just disappeared. So now that we have all this digital stuff, you can make ones there. Otherwise, photocopy them, do something like that. Do not use original photographs. And you can put them in an album like this, okay, or you can space them throughout. Okay. This is kind of cool because you've got a picture of the person who was interviewed. So you get an idea. Here's where people usually fall down on this. So make a little note. Here's an album. Okay. Fantastic pictures. Okay. We barely know what the pictures are about. We have names and that's it. So better to do something like Michael Wong in his role as best man at my wedding, 5/15/04. Okay, and Michael Wong has pointed out that we've